Welcome back to another episode of Right Here in Mass. Joining me today is Zulfiya Forsythe. She is the CEO of the Omadli Group, which builds intelligent and end-to-end AI solutions that free businesses from the mundane. By turning complexity into clarity, she helps clients reclaim their time and focus on what truly matters. Zulfiya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to come and chat with you and talk about what we do and just have a great time.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to have you on because, as our listeners will see in the show notes with your full bio, you specialize in AI, which, of course, has been a hot topic for at least the past year, if not longer than that. And so I think it's a really great subject to bring onto the show and dive more into. So before we get started with that, I would love to open this up and have you start off by sharing more about you and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Zulfiya Forsythe. I'm a CEO founder of Omadli Group. We do data analytics and AI solutions for businesses across the states. We help companies to stay efficient, to automate all of their reporting, and to kind of buy back their time with the technology. And also with AI, we help to educate them, help them to ethically onboard it, as well as build the full solution from beginning to end, from the entire idea, bring the idea basically into the full implementation process.
Mm. So with that, what are some examples of AI solutions that you typically help clients with? Like you said, you help them build it, but what are some solutions that they might be looking for that you use AI for?
Absolutely. So a couple of things that we've done is we worked, for example, we analyzed AI to predict the customer churn. That was one of the projects that we did for one of our e-commerce clients. We basically looked at all of their users and kind of identified, okay, which one of them are going to churn in the next couple of months based on these criteria. And we looked at the vast amount of data to identify basically these churn percent month over month. And why did we do this? Well, a lot of businesses, right? They want to make sure they maintain and keep the customers happy. They make sure that they have a really good experience and they're looking at their numbers. And the way we help them to identify the factors that are affecting the churn, so they can actually, instead of looking at the thing, the retention rate at the end of the month and nothing could be done there, actually identifying the factors that are affecting the churn and then tweak their strategies around it, maybe their marketing, maybe how they engage with the customers, or maybe their product offering as well, to kind of see how they can keep the customers happy and involved within their product as well. So they taking actions before it's too late, basically. And then another area of solutions that we did is, so a lot of people think about chatbots as something that's gonna sit on the website, and limited a lot of times because again, most of the times we get stuck, or it's only can provide certain information up to a certain point. But what we built is AI chatbots that actually multi-purpose or multi-agent. And I know it's like a technical term, but basically chatbots can have that like a human conversation with you and actually help you to get the question based on real-time information, meaning, so most of the chatbots have sit on a website and then they kind of like able to scrape the website and give you the information that is on a static basis. So that website is not changing much. It's going to tell you about your services and like your hours, or help you to kind of like maybe there's a pricing that's offered on the website. But if you want the chatbot that's kind of helping your customers to provide any real-time information, like based on transactions that these customers have on a back end, meaning like, oh, like tell me about my billing, explain it to me why my billing is so much higher based on a previous month, or explain me what these items on the invoice, for example. Those are the capabilities that we build for our clients, and one of them is we build in veterinary space, for example, for veterinary clinics where they can schedule appointments based on a real-time calendar, but also have a conversation with the bot where they can ask about, for example, all right, well, I want in-person visit, or I want to schedule televisit, for example, or like I want records to be like, can I have the records obviously after certain authentication process is done? So where they can have actually conversation. And we live in a world of Amazon, right? Everybody's so used to speed. Speed is everything. So most people I used to just like, oh, I want to order something now, and I want to get the information now. Or a lot of times we want to book an appointment either with hairstylist, or if we want to book up like short-term rentals, want to go somewhere for vacation. We want the like we got this hour and we have a bunch of other things to do. We want this to be resolved now, so it's kind of off our checklist as fast as possible.
Yeah.
We don't want to go back and like look for another thing and then search and like and then wait. And basically, that's where we come in. We kind of help to facilitate that conversation and help to businesses to not lose their customers, basically, to someone else who's able to answer quickly, to provide that information, to kind of lock that in for them.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought up that point about not losing customers to someone else, because from what you just shared, it made me think of the importance of customer retention and the concept of it's so much more important and valuable to retain your current customers than try to go and attract new ones or acquire new ones. Like being able to keep the people that you have happy already, I think is huge. And as you've shared, being able to leverage AI to do that can really make a huge difference.
Yeah, one of the that's a really good point. Actually, one of the books that I read by Seth Godin, and one of the concepts where he this by statistics, right? It's so much more expensive to get new customer rather than keeping your current one. Your current one customer is like a legacy customer, and that you can obviously like learn more about them, see what they really want, see what they, if they're happy. They can bring and be the voice for many other customers that they can bring their friends, their family members to use your services. So like
Yeah.
kind of tuning in into what they want and what they're talking about is key. But a lot of times it's, actually like what are you doing with all of the data that you're collecting when you're communicating with them, like through chatbots? And when you have the forms chatbots that I see on some of the websites that, when the customers come to us, I'm like, that's so much lost opportunity there because, it's a form like, well, you type in your name and you type a question and we'll get back to you, right? But where
Yeah.
is it going to? Like a lot of times I ask, like, where is it going to? How is it being stored? How is it being analyzed? How is it being used for improvements? And that's like lost opportunity, especially for service businesses that are basically that are there to like either provide, as I mentioned, vacation spots, or like if they're trying to book any type of a services like that they provide, either it's veterinary or if it's a beauty service or a real estate, and kind of like having that conversation engaged and like collecting that data, those insights from multiple different data points, because they might have data sources, they might have like again chatbots, emails, we have Slacks, we have we have Facebook messages, we have Instagrams, right? We have so many points where we touch base and talk about our customers, but how are we like analyzing it and how we are curating it to retain our customers and make them stay with us longer.
Totally. And in addition to the customer retention piece, I mean, what you mentioned, both which is in your bio and also what you mentioned earlier, is just being able to free businesses from the mundane tasks. And so I feel like you'll agree with me on this, but I don't think that AI is ever going to take away people's jobs. I think what it is doing already is it's giving people time back in their jobs so they can have more time to focus on more of those strategic, high level deliverables ultimately that they need to focus on. And AI can do the things like you mentioned, like the chat bot, and like be able to schedule appointments and focus on the customer journey, being able to do the things that people don't necessarily need to do. So that way their time is so much more freed up to focus on the bigger picture thinking.
Yes, and I want to expand a little bit more on this. So AI is evolving so rapidly, but I would
Mm-hmm.
say I know it's augmenting a lot of jobs that are out there. Like the report of 2025, the job report, I just actually did a piece on that one. Every industry is going to be augmented by AI because it's just it. We as a human nature, we love to progress, we love to evolve, we love to grow. So we're not going to stop at one point. We're always progressing. So.
Mm.
And I know there's going to be a gap between people that are like, for example, all right, well, this happened, and the people not adopting AI in their daily work and the people that are adopting. So I think one of the things that we could do is start learning it. There's so many free tools that are out there. Start free with free tools and start like asking yourself. It's almost like changing your mindset around it and thinking, not being scared of it. because again, having like, oh, it's gonna like take my job, I'm gonna be basically out of job, right? A lot of like taking that panic out and kind of, all right, it's not going anywhere, let's embrace it. How can I use it in my daily job? How can I make myself more, let's say, resourceful, more advanced in what I do? Because here's the thing, domain expertise is such a key thing because AI is so broad, right? It's scooped up everything that's on the internet, basically,
Hmm.
and trained through. That's why when you use sometimes AI, it might just be like all over the place and give you like kind of not really cohesive and not information that's not right for your domain expertise, for your tone, for how you do business, for your culture. And that's why if you have that as a tool that you going to basically custom for your domain expertise and know how do you talk to your customer in your business, who your customers are, who your vendors are, what type of product they like, then you can leverage that in to kind of like supercharge you.
Hmm. Absolutely. And who wouldn't want to use that to go to the next level in their business?
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, right? We as humans, we always want to improve. We always want to be better, read more books, get more healthier, right? We always have these like, so yeah, we can use AI in our daily life, not just at work, just like daily life. All right, well, take a picture of your fridge and say, literally, so a lot of AI tools, they are on the phone, basically available, and you can use them either through voice, through picture. You don't have to be perfect in explaining things because if you take pre-AI era, right, when you're trying to, before, you have to like form your sentences on Google to kind of get the answer that you're looking for, but first you need to ask the question in the right way. So, you have to form the question really to get like a
Mhm.
better results. Kind of same thing here, but because it has a picture mode where you can just like, all right, like take a picture, just help me to figure this out. Like here's my ingredients that I have in my fridge. Give me some ideas here that are healthy. That would be, for example, that would involve more vegetable, blah blah blah, and now it spits out something to you.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Actually, interestingly, I just now had a conversation. I took a Uber to go event earlier today, and my Uber driver did not speak very well English. It was very nice gentleman, and guess what? And I knew a little bit of Spanish, so I was like, all right, I could understand, but I could not converse. So I pulled up my phone, basically, and I have ChatGPT here, the voice one, and we just had a full conversation with him. I was like, basically, okay, translate this, and then listen to what he said. It will translate back to me what he said. And we were just like back and forth, had a
Yeah.
conversation. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And I told him, like, this is artificial intelligence talking to you. And we were able to have the conversation, like, so that was very neat.
Yeah, and it's really nice to have experiences like that when it's like have these situations in your life or in your business where it is AI that's making it possible. And it's very, very cool to think about that.
Yeah, I will tell you even more. Like I remember, so I came here as an international student many, many years ago, and I remember I had in my bag like this thick of a glossary of just all like a glossary translator basically. I would carry it everywhere just because like I would not know certain words. I remember reading the book by one of the actually it was Illuminati. By Dan. I forgot his last name. But anyways, it was very thick. And I remember I would always drag this glossary with me, look up every word, and like, it was just so much, like so much work. But now you can just learning new skills, learning, reading, new languages, or like any type of a complex skills is so much easier because again, you can take a just screenshot of it, and then ask to translate it, and it's right there for you. So,
Yes, absolutely. And one thing, Zulfia, that I would love to do is like take a step back and just ask you some because I'm so curious. Like, how did you get started in this work? Like, you are so knowledgeable and know so much about AI. Like, I would love to hear what it is in your career journey that brought you to this point. Experiences like what made you want to start your business? All the things. I'm so curious.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashley. Sure. So my background is in accounting, by the way. So I'm an accountant. I did bachelor's degree in accounting. I started working as an accountant. I got my CPA, but then I started kind of, my idea was I wanted to work for Big Four. That was my big dream. I thought I'm going to
Yeah.
work and have a corner office. I'll make it. That was what. Big Four did not happen. I was a corporate accountant. And then I just started kind of tinkering and it's kind of like looking. I was like, all right, I have this monthly report that I have to do, kind of report on our financial statements, expense distributions that I have to do. And I want a manual around Excel. And I was doing the same thing over and over again, bank recs. It's like, must be a better way. Like, there must be a better way. Like, start kind of like looking into it. How can I like automate this? And I started playing with Visual Basics. That was my first time doing syntax, like macros, basically just recording certain steps in Excel and then recording them so it kind of does it automatic. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I spent lots of evenings, lots of nights, just kind of like figuring things out. And then I started talking to our IT department, the company that I worked for at that time, and I started seeing what they do. And at that time, our VP showed us, I was like, all right, come here, I'll show you something. He's like showing me all this data just in 1 second. Boof, I have really nice report of all the KPIs updated so fast and it just everything. I was like, how did you do that? How is that possible? Like millions of rows. Now all of a sudden, like I have all my all KPIs updated. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to like learn about matches and VLOOKUPs and like making sure that they don't get screwed up in the middle and then file doesn't get
Hmm.
corrupted. This is amazing. So after that, I started kind of like, please take me into your department. I really want to do this. Like, I really want to learn. Like, so kind of like, beg myself into it. And I'm so, so happy. Like, I'm so grateful. I still remember that day as clear as possible when they got me in, took me in and they said, yep, we did that transition. So grateful for the opportunity because I started learning like SQL on my own, kind of just lots of YouTube at that time, Google and forums, dumbing down, like taking dummy data and kind of like paraphrasing it and like, oh, how do you solve this? And stuff like that. And I feel like that was so much harder than now. You literally can just ChatGPT, take a screenshot, boom, and you're like, can
Yeah.
you explain this to me? Before it was like forums, I would literally create like a dummy report to make sure that I don't expose any confidential information and basically just kind of like make up this, make up the whole project and ask people, can you help me out? A
Yeah.
lot, Google it and sit there and like tweak stuff a lot. So took longer, but yeah, that's how. And then after that, I kept growing in that field. And COVID hit. I got laid off. Then I was like, all right, let me start with freelancing. Let me start like kind of like trying to put myself out there and then apply for a bunch of projects. And I actually got one. And I was like, all right. It was so terrifying though, because I'll tell you, me coming from the place where you always had a team member, you always had a manager, someone who overlook your work, someone that you can go ask questions about. Now you're kind of on your own, and and it's a responsibility. I take it very seriously. Clients are coming to you and they're looking for expert. For me, it's like, oh my God, can I handle this? Can I deliver this? Can I do a good job? Like, what if I'm going to fail? And then, they pay money for this for me. Like, I want to make
Hmm.
sure I provide a good service. So, and it turned out well, actually, better than I was like, okay, let's try. And if it's not gonna well, I'm not gonna take your money. I'm just gonna like, I am like, let's try. But it actually went well, and we kept going at it. And then I got another job, and I kept like, so I got basically full-time job then, and I still kept it. And then little by little, I kind of kept it going. And since 2023, I've been running it full time,
That's
basically.
amazing. Yeah. And so I think it's one super cool that you started off being an accountant and then saying to their IT department, please let me come work in your department instead,
Yeah.
and made that transition. And then now look at you having gone from uh, a career change in that aspect, same industry, but career change, and then now are doing your own thing.
Thank you so much. It was honestly, I remember the day when I was like, please, like I really wanted to get an analytical job. Like, and I would talk to so many recruiters and they were like, nope, you're an accountant. You don't have any financial analytic job. Like you cannot be like making that change. Sorry, like people really want to see some type of analytical. And like I'm so grateful that they took a chance on me, the IT department of our company, and they're like, all right, we know we don't know anything. We know you don't know anything, but we're gonna come teach you, and we give you opportunity to learn, and but it's gonna require from you time. And I'm just so grateful because that kind of like propelled me, into this field and kind of doing what I love. And I think one of the things is like I was driven by curiosity, definitely, because it's just me like and kind of dabbing into this and like kind of okay, what else is out there, what else is there, what else can I do, what else can I do? And there was a lot of failures in between because when I was trying to automate things didn't work out well, or sometimes my code didn't work well, and just it took longer, but yeah, but just I kept at it. And then with AI, as we started providing when we provide a service for our clients, we started with data analytics. Basically, kind of like what I did for my job is taking all that data across from all of these enterprises that they have and kind of helping them automate that, provide them reporting, like create those dashboards that before, if they were created in Excel, now taking them off from Excel and basically, all right, because here's the thing, there's a lot of software out there and they all have out of box kind of like a included reporting. But a lot of
Mhm.
companies don't use it because they have their own custom reporting. They kind of have their own lens, how they look at the data and what they want to see, what they want to report on. So that's why they would take these multiple reports in Excel format, then they will marry it together kind of manually through these basically formulas and stuff. So where I come in and kind of, okay, well, if you have something that's running Excel, let's build it out dashboard for you that you can actually now Excel can only hold so much because it cannot hold all the past data. It gets like corrupted. It's more lighter version where you can have like, for example, Power BI solutions um, that are affordable, that give you great visuals. They can house data that are 3, 5, 7 years old. And then you can go back to, you can see where your KPIs are at. You can also like download transactions that are making up the number, and you can kind of look at your company as a whole. So you can plug in multiple sources into it, not just like one source. If, for example, if you
Right.
look at patient records, you can't just look at patient records. You want to add an element of your financial element into it. You can also do that as well. So just kind of we started doing that, and then as the AI came in, it was like, all right, what else can we do now? Well, AI is another way of talking to your data.
Mhm.
Basically, before it was on the dashboard side, now you can actually have a conversation with it and ask insights on it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so cool to think about like all of the capabilities that you can do with it and how things only continue to keep growing. Like every single day, probably every hour, I feel like there's a new capability that you can use AI for.
Actually, I want to like, when I have conversation, I have a really good analogy on this one. Like, Um, what I see AI, right, is another tool. Yes, it's powerful tool, but it's another tool. So for example, even taking like before I did AI, right, like many years ago when I was doing that Excel and being an accountant. So somebody who knew really good Excel, they could leverage work and do it more faster and kind of build out reporting faster, right?
Mhm.
Versus someone who did not use Excel or use Excel from very like a kind of basic level. So they could really get around this fast compared to this fast. So this is how I look. I know like AI is more powerful, but it's just another tool that we progress from as well.
Absolutely. And I'm curious to see like where you see your company going in this coming year, like knowing that you went full time in 2023. So almost 2 years, which is so exciting. But I'd love to hear where you see yourself growing, perhaps new things you see yourself offering, or just exciting things that might be coming up.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, having a lot of conversations with people on AI, and for 2025, we're seeing AI agents. I kind of talked about this last year as well, and now I see it more and more AI agents. We're building them up. What is AI agent? So let me kind of break that I explain it. So large language models, basically those AI models that are powering right now ChatGPT. is
Mhm.
that the product is by OpenAI. So that's the AI agent is really that model prompt or like fine-tuned or kind of like how do I more like a if I simpler like kind of that's been filtered out, that's been trained only for particular task or particular role.
Mhm.
So if you take like admin assistant, for example, right? Administrative assistant, someone that um, responds to emails, books a podcast, right? For example, or looks for those podcasts, reach out to the podcast owners, craft the message. All of that is done by virtual, like someone that assistant, right? Or books you to be a speaker at some of the events, or like books your basically event schedule. All of that could be done by AI assistant, meaning everything that's so the knowledge work is someone that comes there and then clicks things and steps on the computer, all of that AI. So you can really take AI agent and then create your own assistant that's going to be basically in the morning, like telling you, hey, good morning, Ashley. Like these are your meetings today. So you can talk to it and say, can you please give me my recap for today? And it can tell you these are your meetings today. You have a podcast of Zulfiya today at this hour. And then if there's a new email came in, it can give you the new email, or you can ask for it. Hey, can you please tell me summary of my last emails? Can you respond to this email this way? And it can literally like provide a response. Can you book a meeting with this person? If you meeting someone, for example, you go into the event, you met somebody, and you can just take like a screenshot of their card, and it can like take that information and add it to your contacts. Either it's somewhere like on a whatever that you have for system. You have a certain system that those contacts need to be entered in, and it can send you back like, okay, Ashley, I have entered these contacts. Basically, it's done.
Mhm.
So it can notify you as well. So this is basically this is what we're building, this is what's coming, and it's for every role. So basically if you're a property manager and you have multiple properties that you're overlooking, same thing, or this property, for example, this like this person is about to vacate, you need to get the cleaners in there. Like here's I'm already like this person, should I contact the cleaner, should I like what do you like basically instead of you writing those emails or initiating those things, AI agent could help to facilitate all of those things. So
Yeah.
it's basically they can be on board to every organization, learn everything about your organization, and kind of be the helper where you don't have to go click now. Like if you want to see what's my what's our outstanding receivables are like, for example, who am I waiting to hear from or to get payment from. So instead of you clicking on QuickBooks Online, basically you can just ask it and can tell you, okay, the lot like we're waiting. Basically, this is how much your outstanding ARs are, outstanding receivables are, and they coming from this customer, blah blah blah. So you don't have to kind of click and go. You can just ask a question and they'll come to you basically.
Oh, very interesting. And I'm sure that there's many people listening to this who are like, okay, I think I might need an AI agent and I might need an assistant. Like, how would someone even get started with building one or having a company build one and then training them? Like, tell me about all the things.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So again, you need to make sure there's tons of tools out there, tons of
Mhm.
automation tools out there, but it's not about tools. It's about you need someone that understands, for example, the data behind it. Like, what are you trying to achieve? What your goals are? What your priorities are? Where your data is coming from? How to integrate your data? Because yes, there's tons of tools out there, but there's some limitations on those tools. Like,
Mhm.
so you need someone who is going to give you the right. Um, because if you think about this, even with chatbot, there's so many chatbots services that are out there, tons of them. You can plug and play, but you really need someone that can help you to onboard this ethically, securely, privately. So
Yeah.
your data is not going to get exposed because it's again digital product, right? So it's not going to get hacked, and then also it's trained well as well, so it's not giving you wrong information to your customers and potentially hurting your brand, for example. So it's you training it to have your voice, to have your tone, to have your culture, to kind of, and the key is also is having that paired up with your internal documents, like
Hmm.
anything that you have on documentation when you're trying to automate a certain type of process, because it's going to augment that and it's going to produce more specific, more correct outputs.
Yeah.
So having the team that kind of knowledgeable on those levels, that would be the key. Because again, you need to understand different types of data because garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
So, but I think everybody should just start from again, like educating themselves on AI, like having some conversation with it, and finding experts in the field to reach out to help them build those solutions. And as I mentioned again, like I looked at Job Report 2025, it is coming to every business, to every industry. And I think like the sooner they start onboarding, the sooner they started, because it's not like, okay, I want AI and it's going to not show up tomorrow, right?
Hmm.
You have to train it. Basically, you have to onboard it. You have to educate your staff with it as well. So there is a process. You have to make sure everybody knows how to work with it as well. So it's going
Yeah.
to take time.
Yeah. And I think you brought up a great point too about people simply just getting started, looking at what education and resources are out there with AI, because I feel like it's something that people are very overwhelmed by, and they think that it's this big complex idea. And of course, there are many intricacies and whatnot, but I think just kind of familiarizing yourself and just diving right in is really the best way to get started and kind of feel out what it can do for you.
Yeah, 100%. That's the only way. And then again, like, but we also need to be. I know, like, I can see how there's could be so many reservations, right? But we need to make sure, like, when we're using these tools, we need to understand that we're not offloading all the sensitive information.
Hmm.
For example, we have so many models are coming in, right? So we need to make sure we're reading terms of conditions before we go in there and like offload our sensitive information, right? But something that isn't sensitive, like for example, as I mentioned, like translation, talking to people and in different languages, or like give me I want to make chocolate cookies. I don't know, like something like that, and literally give you. But like you can still use it and still get insights. Or if you're trying to learn new subject matter, or if you're trying to change careers, right? Trying to kind of understand the concept, you can definitely use, or you can even like ask medical questions. You don't have to follow them, but kind of like learn what's out there if you want to. You don't have to expose all your sensitive information, but just little things here and there, kind of AI tool is really the way I see this and coming in the future is that it's going to be a tool where you can do 60% of work yourself and then go
Hmm.
get expert, or
Yeah.
even like 70%, and kind of do your preliminary work so you understand or what's happening, so you're more knowledgeable, so you can make the most informed decision, and then get the expert to kind of like, okay, clarify you, okay, this is what's going on, this is what you should do, kind of to help you to make that final decision.
That's a great point. And for anyone who's listening to this episode who may find themselves at a crossroads like you were, looking to make a career change into data analytics and AI, what advice would you have for them with just being able to get started with making a new career and trying something new?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So what I would say is like go with your passion, to be honest. Like you have to follow your curiosity, because the way I think is, again, you don't have to change your career. So like, oh my God, AI is going to take over. I have to like completely look everything that I've done, all those, no, all those years, those are like golden years. This is what
Hmm.
helps you to use your AI in your industry. Like that's gonna make you superpower. So if you want to change the career, I changed it because I really was driven by curiosity. I just like fell into loving this automation thing and how to make things better and how to elevate that work for myself, for my clients, to make sure that I provide these solutions. I just genuinely love it. If that's what you love, that's great. Then I think it would be really great to start kind of like, there's so many free courses out there from
Hmm.
reputable colleges. I think from Harvard, from MIT, from Coursera is another one really great. Is the founders Andrew NG. So he's amazing. Like lots of YouTubes as well out there to kind of just start learning on and taking those free courses and seeing if if that resonates. And if that resonates, kind of putting a plan in here. Here's one thing. You can ask AI, literally in ChatGPT, okay, these are my interests. Based on my interest, here's the thing. You could say, you can even say, you can even give you a demographic, kind of like, okay, I'm a female, like in this age. They can even do that, like kind of between, I'm really, this is what been my background. That's what I've been doing. But my curiosity and what I love to do is this. Can you suggest me basically the careers that I should look into and what are the actionable steps to achieve it in the next five
Mm,
years?
yeah.
And it's gonna give you a plan. And then you can start conversation back again. And then, all right, can you suggest me maybe some type of courses that I should go, communities that I need to be part of to kind of keep growing in that field? And yeah, and it's gonna give you stuff. And it's I think it's reflection, right? Learning how to reflect is a key, like talking and constantly like brainstorming, asking yourself a question. But with AI, I also want to point out is AI is good as its user.
Right.
So that's what like AI is good as its user. So if we are not, because I don't want to say like, oh, AI is it's a funny thing, like I know a lot of things, well, AI is gonna do the everything. What are we good for, right? We don't need to do anything. Like AI can do no, no, no. Like AI is good as its user, meaning for us, one of the critical skills is creativity, analytical thinking, problem solving. But all of those things come from us investing in our education,
Mhm.
growing, learning, meeting people, reading books, so we can have those insights, so we know what to ask. Because if we don't know what to ask, then we're gonna get like these vague answers that are just not really insightful, not really helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I think that's wonderful advice. As we get closer towards the end of this episode, I love to ask our guests what their favorite local businesses are to support. And so I'm curious to hear what your responses to that would be.
Sure, absolutely. My local business, I would love to support my friend Tatiana Gao. She's part of Manada Coaching. She's the owner of Manada Coaching. She does leadership coaching. So I think she would be a great person to follow for any advice. She has a very inspiring story. And I think in the age of AI, that's what you need. You need to have those leadership skills, soft skills. That's what she teaches about, communication skills, creativity, problem solving.
I love that. Zulfiya, this has been an amazing episode, and I've really enjoyed having you on the show to chat about everything involving AI and what's coming up in the future. And now I'd love to give you the opportunity to share with our listeners where they can find you online in case you'd like to chat further.
Absolutely. You can find me online at Zulfiya Forsythe on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn, Zulfiya Forsythe at Omadli Group. And actually, I have something for you. If you're the listener, feel free to in your messages write Mass, like short for Massachusetts AI, and then I would know that you come from this podcast, and I'll give you the free guide on your own AI assistant that you can create now and that could start helping you.
Amazing. I love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Zulfiya,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much
much.
again for coming on today's show.
Thank you so much, Ashley.